Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
I'm Ann Trujillo with the latest from Denver 7. Would you be okay with neighborhood-wide surveillance? It's already happening in parts of Aurora, and your community could be next. Denver 7's Jennifer Kowaleski is hearing from those concerned about privacy, others happy their property is being protected, and everyone in between in tonight's 360 report.
Neighborhood license plate cameras, capturing every car that comes and goes.
Everybody wants to be safe.
A way to keep communities safer.
We all have Ring doorbells, right?
Or Big Brother on steroids.
Another step of we're allowing people to track us.
Let's take a 360 picture for multiple perspectives on this privacy dilemma. We're talking to residents who say this is about safety. A security expert calling it a slippery slope. Denver police who say it can help solve crimes. And lastly, the ACLU who's warning about the risks. This upscale Aurora neighborhood is ditching doorbell cameras for these more advanced license plate readers.
To me, it's using tools properly.
Bel Air Estates homeowner Joey O'Rourke is all for the investment.
They keep track of who comes in and comes out, and if something were to happen, they've got their license plate.
For him, this is about safety. O'Rourke says they've experienced a string of brazen daytime break-ins and saw this as a good solution.
There was break-ins and people's cars got broken into.
These hard-to-miss red and white signs warn every driver they're being watched. O'Rourke says so far they seem to be working.
We haven't had the incidents since they put the cameras in of the funny little incidents we were having.
Let's take a snapshot of how the cameras work. A company named Flock is behind the license plate readers. The private HOA owns the footage, so the company claims they never sell the data. Everything is stored in the cloud and deleted after 30 days. Also important to note, homeowners who live in the community can opt out to have their cars automatically removed.
All the neighbors are registered with them, so they can eliminate license plate numbers just by that.
Going back to Aurora, nearby homeowner Chuck Spar is reluctantly for the cameras.
Collecting everyone's license plate when they go by, that's a lot of information, a lot of fairly personal information.
Our perspective, honestly, is that they're helpful.
Denver police already have their own license plate readers. They aren't endorsing the cameras for private use. But let's be real. They're all for anything that can cut down on crime.
70% of all crimes are committed with the use of a vehicle.
To get any neighborhood's footage, the HOA would have to share it with police.
We're all about, keeping neighborhoods safe and keeping the community safe.
I have mixed feelings about it.
Security expert Steve Beatty says it's nothing short of a slippery slope, with few protections on what happens to the data. Like, let's say the cloud gets hacked.
When those data are stolen, what does that mean to me as a person who is either a visitor or a member of that particular community?
I don't like them.
Denise Mays with the ACLU is not a fan of the license plate readers.
People are relying on them for purposes of feeling safer and more secure in their neighborhoods. Unfortunately, there's no conclusive evidence that suggests that they are safer.
But she says there are no real legal issues since the cameras are being placed on public property with clearly posted signs.
A lot of individuals have cameras on their front doors now, so there really isn't any Fourth Amendment issue.
And with at least 10 metro area neighborhoods already installing these readers, they could be coming soon to a community near you. In Aurora, Jennifer Kowaleski, Denver 7.
And now it's time for you to weigh in. Are you okay with more surveillance if it means a better protected home? How about going forward? Do you trust these companies to handle the data properly? We'd love to hear what you think about this. Send us an email to 360@thedenverchannel.com. Well, it's slow going, but a big improvement tonight as drivers try to get past the mess on Highway 36. This morning, crews were able to open 2 eastbound lanes on the westbound side of the bridge a full day earlier than expected. There will also be closures overnight to allow for some maintenance work. Aurora police need your help tracking down the protesters who desecrated a U.S. flag during an ICE protest. Investigators tell us these are the people who took down the flags flying in front of that ICE facility on Friday. In their place, they raised a vandalized upside-down flag, one that was anti-police. They also raised a Mexican flag. They also tried to burn the U.S. flag that they'd taken down. All suspects are expected to face misdemeanor charges. And it's prime time for porch pirates like this woman who manages to jump out of a truck, bolt onto the doorstep of a Highlands Ranch home and get away with a package in 15 seconds flat. With Amazon's Prime Day and competing sales from other retailers, this is only going to get worse over the next few days. So the absolute best way to protect your new stuff is to have your items sent to an Amazon locker, maybe send it to your office. And don't worry if you've already told Amazon to just drop your packages off at home. Chances are they haven't shipped yet, so just go online and change the destination.
At One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Even 50 years later, the footage still gives you goosebumps. This week marks a half century since the moon landing, a feat thought impossible even as it was being accomplished. Making it happen required not only courage, but intelligence, ingenuity, and nerves of steel. Denver 7 Sean Toll had the opportunity to speak with the legend who embodied all those traits as he guided the mission from Earth.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
It was 50 years ago Tuesday that Apollo 11 launched into space and headed towards the moon. And after 4 days in space, the time had come.
I had the responsibilities for the lunar landing.
Gene Kranz was the flight director and mission control that day.
We copy you down, Eagle.
We have 12 minutes from the time we start down until the time we land on the moon. And there's an awful lot of critical events that have to happen at that time.
This is video of Kranz at the helm.
We had communications problems right from the very beginning. I have a controller that indicates we've got another trajectory aberration radio. And this basically is tilting the orbit.
And then, just like a Hollywood movie, fuel was running low.
I say, holy cow, we normally would have landed by now. And then pretty soon it's 30 seconds. And then I get the call about the time I was expecting 15 seconds. We recognize that the crew has just landed in the moon. And literally in mission control, the viewing room behind me erupts and cheering and noise and pounding and everything else.
But Kranz couldn't yet.
Got sort of unhappy because I just yelled to settle down until finally 2 hours after we've landed, my team can join in the rest of the world in the celebration.
Once he could celebrate, he was so proud of his team and their role. And out of that, he felt a great deal of patriotism and a philosophy he says the country should take going forward.
What America will dare, America can do. And I think that's really the kind of guideline that we have to set out for some of these allegedly impossible problems. They're impossible if you believe they're impossible.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground.
Sean Toll, Denver 7.
And for those of you wondering, yes, Kranz is the same cool, under pressure, tireless leader portrayed by Ed Harris in Apollo 13. This has been your Denver 7 On Demand update. Thank you so much for joining us, and check back here later tonight for another update and download the Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. I'm Ann Trujillo.